Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport for today's Springbok team prediction for Romania. The Springbok's second Group B clash will take place this week Sunday at 3 o'clock in Bordeaux. And it's a chance to rotate. And it very much is going to be a rotated side. I think that's pretty much been confirmed. But it'll be interesting to see who gets rotated, who doesn't get rotated, and what sort of the makeup of the team looks like. Because you've got to try and weigh up a couple of things. First of all, obviously, you want to try and protect some of your best players, keep them as fresh as possible. But at the same time, there are certain players that play better the more sort of they play. And there are certain players who maybe they feel like, they'd like to get some more game time in. And also some players can take on a bigger workload than other players. Some players, take longer to recover and stuff. So it's quite an intricate thing in terms of trying to decide exactly who to rest, who not to rest. And also in terms of changing the team, combinations. And if you want to try a few things and stuff like that, this is now the time to start trying to do that. So it's going to be an interesting team to see. Ireland went pretty strong against Romania, but I think a lot of that was about them, getting a run out against Romania's side. There was more just sort of match practice. South Africa have had that run out. They've pitched up, they've beaten Scotland, they've had that run out. Now they can afford to rotate a bit and then go full strength against Ireland. So it's a bit of a different sort of approach to the game than what Ireland had. So yeah, but basically, I want to do is going to give you my team prediction or the team that I think I would like to see, and that was something that we might start to see. I want to know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. This is what I've gone with. There's quite a lot of changes, and it could look very different to this. It probably would look very different to this. But I think that core 23 players won't change much from this. I think maybe the makeup of the actual team might be a little bit different. So I've gone with basically a brand new pack, and I've gone with more or less a different bracket line, and I think that we'll see a certain amount of that. The only thing for me is whether they are, there are certain players who obviously will play from last weekend. Will they start and come off early? Will they come off with the bench? How do they want to manage the game time? So if I'm saying that at this stage, I would like to see a new front row start, that being the bench front row of the weekend, starting this game, which would be Oxenchair, Bongi Manambi, and Trevor Nyakane. I think Bongi could actually be captaining if they make that decision, or they could go with Dwayne. If we then look at the locks, I think assuming he's fit, I think it'll be a Jean-Claude Marvin Ori combination, and I think Archie's name will come off the bench. And then in the loose trio, they might very well play a Siya Kolisi. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, if they want to try and give him some more game time. If they don't, Marco van Staden is the obvious choice. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if they were to go Franco Mostert at 7 and give PSF the toy the weekend off. Because it's easy to go PSF the toy. I'd be surprised if we saw Kwagga Smith at 7. I think but at the same time, Dwayne Vermeulen is a line option. So if he starts, for example, which I think he will, then we've got the line option. If Jasper Wiese starts, then we definitely have to have a Franco Mostert or a PSF the toy because we need that additional line-out jumper. So that's the pack I've got. I think Jaden Henschel gets a start. I hope he does, in fact. I really do. I'd like to see some more game time from him. And I personally think that Money Box should be playing as many minutes as possible, in the World Cup, learning to settle down, getting to grips with the tournament, with the pressure, with the ball, with everything. So I think that he's such an important player that I think, we need to give him as much time as possible. And so I do think that he starts, and I like to see him start. And then I've got two new wings in Maxima Pimp and CANAN MOODIE. Once again, this is assuming that CANAN MOODIE is fit. We might see him at 13. We might, because, he's only played one game at 13, so they might look at this as another opportunity for him to play at 13. You could have Kurt Lawrence at 14. You could have Jason Colby at 14. So there could be a lot of different combinations. But I think what I would like to see is I'd like to see Andre Hesthuizen playing next to JC Kriel and Mine Liebach, because if that is potentially going to be a combination for like the Ireland game, I'd like to see it a bit of practice. So yeah, I've gone with Andre Hesthuizen and JC Kriel because I think that could be the form center combination. Not that Damien Delaney was bad over the past weekend, and I think if you think he was, I think it's a bit harsh. But obviously there has been a lot of talk about how good Andre Hesthuizen has been and whether he deserves the opportunity to potentially start ahead of Damien Delaney. And if that is going to be the case, I'd like to see him play next to JC Kriel and getting that sort of center combination right. I think CANAN MOODIE had a good game against the All Blacks at 13, but he's only played one game at 13. So it comes to the Ireland game, I'm starting JC Kriel. And therefore, I'd like to see him play next to the person he might be for that game. And I think Billy Lou comes in and starts at 15. He needs some minutes. Hasn't started the last couple of games. and didn't get a lot of minutes over the weekend. So I think he'll start. I think he should. And then off the bench, we've only got hookers in the squad, and I don't think we'll ever name Deon Free as a hooker replacement, but we'll find out tomorrow. This would be the game to do it if there ever was one. Then I think we've got Stephen Kitsoff at the loose head, Vincent Koch at the tight head. The alternative we could be going here is we could be going Trevor Nyakane at 1. You could start Frans Maherba, and you could bring on Oxenchair off the bench. So you could give Stephen Kitsoff the weekend off if you ask Trevor to play at loose head, for example. He is the swing prop, so that kind of could work in that sort of dynamic. But yeah, I think Vincent Koch will get a run out. I like to see Arcus name once again off the bench. I think that off the bench he's been very good, obviously. I think, you can look at reigniting that combination with Jean Klein. Then got Kwaka Smith and Deon Free. So if I'm going with a 6-2 split here, so I think those will be the two there. And I think Kobus Reinach and Damian Willemse will then be the two backline players. If you go with a 6-2 split, it's always going to be a Damian Willemse on the bench. And I think, we have taken extra forwards. So I do think a 6-2 split would make the most sense. But we'll wait and see tomorrow. That's what I've gone with. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.